Okay. So it's nice, I think, sometimes to switch up how we start, because the way we can experience that grounding shifts with the position of our bodies, right? Makes sense? And so since possibly many of us have to sit all day, or a good chunk of the day to work at a computer, it's nice to be able to find that grounding action in an opposite position of what is your usual, because that kind of kickstarts a different kind of energy. So as you come to standing, you have four corners of your feet to experience. And as you take a little time to move around here, a little rock side to side, maybe even let one foot come off the ground and then the other foot come off the ground. Just notice how the four corners of your feet feel, and anything really that's showing up in your feet, right? So sometimes if you have to wear heels, I don't know how much people are having to do that these days, then you might have some stuff showing up in your feet that you wouldn't otherwise have, like tough stuff through the arches. But just show up for yourself right now and notice. And then as you come to settle with the fronts of your feet and the backs of your feet evenly planted, lift and spread your toes, little bend to your knees, and then push your toes into the ground. And as you do so, let yourself stand taller. And then do that again. Bend your knees, lift and spread your toes, and then root, push down, stand tall. Good. Now, as you open up and expand through your chest, turning your palms forward, close your eyes, and take a full deep breath, letting yourself sense the four corners of your feet. Notice that stability that you have with both feet evenly planted. And you can even notice any of the natural movement of your body that happens here, but that with your feet evenly planted, you still have the ability to keep yourself stable. Take another couple of deep breaths, and as you inhale, think of your breath moving from the crown of your head down into your feet. As you exhale, from your feet to the crown of your head. The inhale helps you to lengthen, and the exhale helps you to feel rooted. So take a couple more deep breaths this way, feeling that action of your breath. Then connect palms together at heart center. And as you press your palms gently, lift your shoulders up and back. Lengthen up through the back of your neck. Take one more deep inhale. And exhale, bow toward your heart, taking the time to honor yourself for being here. Then softly opening your eyes, release your hands down, keep your chin tucked down, draw your shoulder blades onto your back again. And then we'll roll a little through our head and neck. So take right ear over to your right shoulder. As you do so, think of your left shoulder moving away. And then tuck your chin down into your chest. And then take your left ear over to your left shoulder. Right shoulder moving away. Exhale, chin into your chest. Inhale, ear to shoulder. Exhale, chin into your chest. Inhale, ear to shoulder. And take this a couple more times at your own pace, with your own breath. And then on your exhale, let your chin tuck downward. And now roll back with your shoulders a couple times. And now lift your chin upward, keep your shoulder blades hugging onto your back. And now half circles with your chin. Again, down to a shoulder and then up toward the ceiling. Down to a shoulder, up toward the ceiling. You can inhale up and over, exhale to your shoulder. And this time, as you exhale your chin over to the right side, take a hold of the back of your head with your right hand. Take a full deep breath on this side. Then inhale your chin up and around. Exhale to the left. Take a hold of the back of your head with your left hand and take a full breath. Then inhale, chin up toward the ceiling. Reach your arms up overhead. Exhale, soft knees and fold over your legs. Inhale and lengthen partway. Bring your hands above your knees. And from this place, we're going to stay in this halfway lift for a couple of breaths. Send your sitting bones up, extend your heart. And then add a little gentle sway of shoulders side to side, keeping your hips stationary, allowing for hip to armpit to grow longer. And then coming back into center, shoulders stay steady now and sway your hips side to side. Allowing for this movement through your sides, allowing for a little bit more spaciousness, again from hip to armpit. Then back into center, move through just a couple rounds of cat and cow here. Inhale, belly releases down gently towards your legs. Exhale, round your spine upward. Inhale and exhale. Moving at your own pace with your own breath. One more time. Then inhale to a neutral place for your spine. Engage your glutes for support and your low belly for support. Look down at your feet and push your toes down. Walk your hands up your legs to rise all the way up to standing. Half salutation now, turn your palms open. Inhale, stretch your arms overhead. Exhale, bend knees to fold over your legs. Inhale to lengthen partway. Exhale to fold. Inhale, reach arms wide. Use your glutes for support to rise all the way up to stand. Arms overhead, and then exhale, hands come to your heart. One more time. Inhale, stretch up. Exhale, fold. Inhale, lengthen partway. Exhale and fold. Inhale, reach and rise. Exhale, hands to your heart. Pause, close your eyes, tune into the connection that you have with the ground, and take a deep breath. Inhale, stretch your arms overhead. Exhale, fold over your legs. Inhale, lengthen partway. Feel free to use blocks here if you would like to. Step your right foot back into your lunge. Center off your hips, extend your heart. Full deep inhale, long full exhale, and push with your feet into the ground. Inhale, step forward. Exhale, step your left foot back into your lunge, and again, center off your hips, extend your ribs. Think of growing longer from hip to armpit. Inhale, step forward. Exhale, right foot steps back. Pause, and again, center with your hips. Use your block if you want to with your right hand or the floor. Take your left hand to your knee and start to take your twist over to the left side. Feel free to bring your back knee to the ground here. Take a full big breath. Maybe stretch your top arm to the sky. Maybe keep your hand at your hip or your knee. Deep, full inhale. Long, deep exhale. And push. Feet into the ground. Push your hand into the ground or your block. Maybe from that push, you have a little extra twist. Next, exhale, both hands come down to the front of your mat on blocks or the floor. Inhale, step forward. And exhale, step your left foot back. And take a moment here to center with your hips and grow longer. Then set your left hand up. Block or floor, your choice. Right hand to your knee as you start to turn your belly and your heart to the right side. Push with your feet. As you push, that energy has to go somewhere. So maybe you'll feel your hips lift a little bit. Turn your belly, turn your heart, and push with your hand. Maybe stretch your top arm to the sky. Big deep breath. Exhaling, both hands come down to the front of your mat. Inhale, step forward, lift up part way. Exhale, fold over your legs. Inhale, reach wide, rise all the way up to stand. Exhale, hands come to your heart. Again, close your eyes, take a full deep breath, and notice that connection that you have with the ground. Softly opening your eyes, shift your weight over onto your left foot, bring your right knee into your hand, and hug your knee in close. Give your foot a flex, stand tall. Take a big deep breath and wrap your right hip down. Even see if you can notice a little action through your entire leg as you wrap your right hip. Big deep inhale, stand even taller. Long, full exhale. Push into the floor with your standing leg. Good. Now open your knee up to the right side for just a moment, taking that action of hip opening. Again, bend your standing knee. Give a little bit of squeeze to your glute to push into the floor. Good. Inhale back into center. And now slide your hand down your shin toward your ankle and then drop your thigh down, coming into this quad stretch here. Hug your thighs in toward each other, lift your chest up high, take a full big breath. Good, gently release your foot down to the ground and then shake it out just a little bit. Now find your balance onto your left foot, or just kidding, your right foot. Bring your left knee into your hands. And pause for a moment, holding onto your knee with both hands, or you can be holding onto a wall here too, that's okay. Flex your foot and wrap your left hip down. Then your standing knee, give it a bend, squeeze your right glute and push into the floor to stand taller. Full big breath. And then open your knee up to the left side, just for a moment. Again, focus on that push from your hips down into the floor. So bend your standing knee, squeeze your glute, and push. Good, bring your knee back into center. Slide your left hand down towards your ankle, and then bring your foot behind you into this quad stretch. Take a big deep breath, even out your thighs. And again, push into your standing foot, lift your chest, reach through your left thigh. Good, gently release your foot down, both feet coming to the ground. Feet inner hip distance apart and parallel. Lift and spread your toes and root. Now hands come together at your heart. Close your eyes and take a full deep breath. Inhale, stretch up overhead. Exhale, fold over your legs. Inhale, lengthen part way. Exhale and fold. Plant your fingertips. Right foot steps back into your lunge. Turn and plant your back heel. We'll inhale and rise to warrior two. Take a moment here in your warrior two to set yourself up. Settling into your front knee to that stacked place for your shin. Straight up over your arch. Lift your ribs. Full big breath. And now inhale, reverse your warrior. You're bringing your right hand behind you. And as you bring it back to your leg, just make sure you're not resting on your knee. You bring it to your hip or your thigh. Lift your left ribs. Inhale back to your warrior two. Exhale now, frame your front foot. You're going to turn your back foot, aiming your toes a little bit forward here. And we're going to come into this twist again, only this time, if it's comfortable, your back foot is in more of a warrior one position. Toes aim toward the front corner of your mat. left hand or right hand rather on your block if you would like. Left hand, thumb into your hip crease. Send your hip crease back in space and bend into your front knee. Turn your belly and your heart. Maybe stretch your top arm to the sky. So a little bit of a difference here in this twist where you might be experiencing some more sensation through the back half. Big, deep inhale, long, full exhale. On your next exhale, both hands come down to the front of your mat. This time, tuck your back toes under and step back into either hands and knees or down dog, just for a moment. Find a little length through your spine. Rotate elbow pits forward and push, growing longer. Big, deep breath. And now, either from hands and knees or down dog, lift your right leg up. Centering with your hips so your toes are aimed down. Push your hands down and grow longer. And then step right foot forward in between your hands. Turn and plant your back heel. And inhale, rise up to warrior two for your second side. Settling in again to that place of stacking for your front shin. Think of your shin stacking over your arch, so the center of your foot. Take a big inhale, lift your ribs. Big exhale, settle just a little deeper. Inhale, reverse. Staying into that front knee and opening it up. Take a big breath and fill up your front ribs. Inhale, back to your warrior two. Exhale, hands come down to the front of your mat. And again, pick up your back foot and rotate it. Turn your toes forward. You can even slide it out to the side a little bit, or even bump it a little bit forward. Left hand to your block, right thumb into your hip crease. Send your hip crease back in space, even as you bend into your front knee. Turn your belly and your heart to the right side. Maybe stretch your top arm to the sky. Big breath. Exhaling, both hands come down to the front of your mat. Tuck your back toes, step back, downward facing dog pose or hands and knees. Rotate elbow pits forward and push. Bend your knees and push the balls of your feet into the ground as well. Send your sitting bones further up. Then lower to your knees, push hips back to heels, take a child's pose. And now inhale, rise to hands and knees. Exhale, down dog. If you would like, you can always stay on hands and knees for this. Inhale, left leg to the sky, rotating your outer left hip down so that your hips become even. Push and grow longer. And now step your left foot forward in between your hands and step your right foot forward. Inhale and lengthen part way. Exhale, fold over your legs. Hands to hips. Press your hips back, start to lift up and open through your chest and rise all the way up to stand. And then set your feet up, inner hip distance apart and parallel. Lift and spread your toes and root them down. And now reach your arms wide. Palms are down, reach through your fingertips. And for a moment, even let your shoulder blades try to pull apart on your back. And then draw shoulder blades toward each other so you're expanding a little more through your front. Now wrap left arm over your right, coming to your eagle arm. So you're either taking a hold of your palms, coming back to back, or just reach for your shoulders and take a hug instead. You choose. Then lift your elbows up to shoulder height, and again, draw shoulder blades onto your back. Take a big inhale here and lift up with your elbows, lift up with your low ribs. Bend your knees and exhale, fold over your legs. As you fold, if it's comfortable for your shoulders, you're going to stay in this eagle or this hug place with your arms. And think about allowing your elbows to reach down. As your elbows reach down, shoulder blades engage onto your back. Take one more big breath right here. Fill up that space in between your shoulder blades. Then release your arms, take your hands up to your knees and rise partway. Extend your heart, send your sitting bones up, and then engage low glutes and low belly. Use that glute hug to help you come all the way up to stand. And then reach your arms, reach through fingertips. And again, even let your shoulder blades separate on your back. This tends to close off the front of you a little bit. So then pull your shoulder blades onto your back and maybe feel a little bit more expansion through collarbones. Right elbow over your left, come into eagle on the second side. Lift your elbows up. Draw your shoulder blades onto your back. Take an inhale. Lift with your elbows, lift with your low ribs. Exhale, hinge from the hips and fold over the legs. As you take this fold on the second side, you can notice for yourself what the difference is. Couple big breaths to allow that reach through the elbows and the engagement of shoulder blades on the back. And then gently release your hands and plant them, step all the way back, downward facing dog pose. Take a full deep breath. And then lower knees down, hips come back to heels, and as they do so, find blocks or whatever you're using for a prop to bring right out in front of you with a little space for your head in between. And now walk your elbows straight ahead of your shoulders. Tendency if your shoulders are tight is to walk them out wide. And this closes off the tops of your shoulders. So instead, we're going to find that external arm bone rotation and bring our elbows in towards shoulder distance and then straight ahead. And then as you settle your shoulders, as you settle your head, take a couple big breaths into that space in between your shoulder blades. Full deep inhale, long full exhale. And then inhale, gently bring yourself up to your seat. Come all the way down to sitting bones. And then with footprints on the ground, hands come to your knees. You can be above or below your knees, whichever feels the best. Take a couple deep breaths, moving through a slow and thoughtful cat-cow, moving through your spine. And in particular, noticing the tilt of your pelvis forward and back. And noticing the movement of shoulder blades toward each other and apart. Then inhale, sit tall. Think of tilting your pelvis towards your legs. Take your right hand across the front of your knees, your left fingertips behind you. Press down and lift your ribs up higher. As you lift your ribs, use an exhale to draw your lower ribs in to help you twist more. Inhale to lengthen. Exhale to twist. Inhale, come back into center, unwinding. Take your left hand across the front of your knees, right fingertips behind you. Push down and start to find that lift. Hip to armpit grows longer. And then exhale, low ribs draw in to help you begin to twist. Inhale, length, and exhale, twist. A couple more deep breaths here. Then inhale, unwind, and then make your way all the way down onto your back. And from your back, your knees are hugging in. Squeeze your knees in as close as is comfortable, giving your guts a little bit of a squish here, and rock a little side to side. And now we did our eagle arms. earlier. So now we'll take our eagle legs. So cross left leg over the top. So you're crossing at the thighs. You might reach your toes around your calf here, or you might just stay crossed at the thighs. A block or a bolster is handy for you so that as you take your legs over to the right side, you can take them only to that place where both shoulders can stay comfortably on the ground. And then open your arms to a T here for a moment if that feels good. Maybe you take a cactus instead, allowing for the opening of your chest, your heart space. Take a big, deep inhale, long, full exhale. And now squeeze in with the thighs to bring your legs back up to center. And uncross and switch the cross of your legs. So your right thigh goes over the top. And again, you can always cross toes around the calf if that feels good, or just cross at the thighs. Block or bolster over to the left side if you would like, and then take your legs over to the left to rest. Again, coming to that place where both shoulders can be grounded, then arms to a T if that's comfortable. Maybe take your gaze over to the right side. Take a deep, full breath. And then squeeze the thighs together as you bring your legs back up to center. Set your footprints on the ground. Hands come to rest at your belly, or one hand at your belly, one hand at your heart. And with your eyes closed, tune into a full, deep, long inhale and exhale. And begin to set yourself up into your most comfortable rest. Whatever that looks like for you, feel free to add that little bit of extra grounding of setting a blanket over your pelvis. Feel free to add that support of a bolster or pillow underneath your legs. Taking whatever position feels the best in your body. And that could even include coming to a seated meditation instead. Begin to take a deeper breath. And start to add movement into fingers and into toes. And as you're ready to bend your knees and roll over to one side. Press into the ground to support yourself back up to your seat. Take one hand to your heart and peace fingers on the other hand to the ground beside you. And take a moment to press down. And with your eyes closed, feel that press and feel the lift of your heart space. Have a very peaceful, very beautiful rest of your day. Namaste. Thanks, you guys.